What's up, everyone? I'm Joshua Botha from Zima Media, and this is Ask a Marketer. Hey everyone, so we're back with another video, and today we're going to be covering how to set up Fathom Analytics for your website. And if you're not familiar with the tool, then this is a Google Analytics 4 alternative that you can set up that allows you to track users without you having to also implement a cookie banner on the site, which is rather interesting. And overall, it is a very simple process to actually get it set up. So let's dive right in. So once you have created your account, which you can do by starting a free trial over here, I will also be adding a link to this in the description of the video. But you can then go ahead and create your account, and this is just a simple process of filling out a form, and it will create the account for you. Once you have then opened up the account, you will notice that you should have the settings over here in the top right corner. If you don't see this, then it means that you're actually in a different view, seeing as Fathom has a shared password that you can share with other people and your link that allows them to see your dashboard, but it doesn't allow them to change any of their settings. So if this is the case, then I suggest simply just going into the app.usefathom.com and then /login, and then logging into the account again using your email and your password, and you should have the settings in the top right corner from then on. So once you have this open, you can go ahead and click on the settings and then head over to sites and click on your site name. This will then give you a few details about the website, such as I mentioned, that link that you can share with users, and then the password that you can also share with them to view the dashboards is right over here. But to actually install it, you'll need to click on the install button over there in the top left corner. This will then give you a site ID, and then you can choose the framework that you would like to use. So they do have quite a few options over here, but overall installing it once again is very simple. You can do this by adding the code snippet directly to your head section of the website, which will then enable the tool to then take effect and start collecting the analytics on the site. When it comes to certain types of frameworks, so we will be using WordPress in this example, then you can click on WordPress and it does give you the instruction, but overall it is very easy. You just go ahead and install a plugin. So I'm going to be copying the site ID now already so that I have it ready for the installation. And then you can go into your WordPress site. So I already do have the plugin installed, and I will be showing you how to do that as well, or where to find it. If you go over to your plugin sections and click on add a new plugin, then all you need to do is type in the name, which would be Fathom Analytics. And then you should see it as the first result that pops up. But to confirm, you can look for the creators of the app. And then, of course, the signature logo is always a dead giveaway of these types of apps. Thereafter, you can click on install and then activate it so that it does actually become active on the website. And I already do have this active, so I won't be able to take you through the actual installation process. But overall, it's simply clicking two buttons directly after each other. Thereafter, if you navigate over to your settings, you will actually find it. So let me just move myself out of the way. You'll actually find the tool laying over here under your settings, and there will be Fathom Analytics. Moving into here, you will notice that it has a very simplified dashboard. It's simply adding the site ID, which is the ID that I just copied from the settings, and then after clicking on the install and getting the site ID, then you can also add that shared password that I mentioned earlier. So if you head back into the settings over here, you can unhide this password, copy it, and then add it into the plugin over here. And then you can also go ahead and tick all the boxes over here, which will then exclude any of your team members or anyone that's logged into your website, essentially, to be excluded from all the reports that Fathom then collects. This is a good feature to include for the app because it allows them to prevent your team members from actually showing up in the reports, which is great. By default, you will only have administrator actually ticked, so you just have to ensure that all of them are ticked to make sure that anyone that's logged into your site doesn't get tracked. Then the last thing that you will notice is a tick box that allows you to display the analytics in the menu item. So overall, it's not something that is extremely relevant to most users, but overall, all this does is show up. It shows up the analytics over here in the top menu when you are on the website. So if I head into our website, for instance, now, then you will see that we have the we don't have the Fathom Analytics over here at the top in that menu. But if you go into the plugin and then accept this, it will actually show up over there as well. And that's all that button actually does for you. Overall, you will still be able to access it from the settings as I showed previously, so this doesn't really make much of a difference. Then after that, you can simply go ahead and click on Save Changes, and then you'll need to head back into the tool over here on the website, and then simply click on Verify Site Code. This may take a few minutes to actually complete the verification, as it will need to go into your website and double check that everything is working correctly, but you should be greeted by a message once it's done. So I'll just be pausing over here and then we can resume once it's ready. And there you go. So you will see the success message that then tells you that the embed code is working and you're ready to start collecting analytics. So once this is done, you should be able to see quite a few things inside of your dashboard. So heading back there, you should immediately start seeing some data come in over here. But overall, it does take a bit of time for it to actually start collecting the data properly. So as you can see over here by us, we have the domains, and then you can view the pages. You can also see the refers and the sources over here on the right hand side. Then if I refresh so that it can just register that there's more to the page, we also have the device types, the browsers, and then the countries over here on the dashboard. And then we have the campaign section, which will then allow us to drill down into the specific source, medium, content, term, and campaign from where we are receiving traffic. And that's it for now. So let's head into part 2 of the video, which is setting up. All right, so now that we have the analytics or the code embedded on the website and we are starting to see some data come in, we can go ahead and set up some custom events. So to head into those settings, you'll once again need to navigate to the settings in the top right corner and then click on the site name. You can then head over to the events tab over here, and here you will find a message that states you haven't created any custom events yet, and then it has a learn more button over there. If you click on that button, you will be directed to a page over here inside of their documentation, which will take you through a guide on how to set up certain types of events, and then they have the specific events actually listed over here on the left hand side to easily access them and understand how they work. Overall, it is slightly more complex to actually set up these events with Fathom, seeing as you will need to install some code snippets on your website. But with the correct tools and so on, this is fairly easy to do, depending on how extensive you actually want to go into the tracking or the custom event setup. So for instance, if I would like to set up a page view event, then this is something that can easily be done by simply heading into the track page load conversions over there. Then you can copy this code snippet that they do provide and then head back into your website. So for us, we are using Elementor, which makes it slightly easier for us to actually implement code onto the website when we want to add custom code snippets. So if I head into my Elementor tool over here, then I have the custom code section. And I can then create a new one, which will then allow me to inject that code into the specific pages that I wanted to go. So for instance, I have this one over here. Let me actually head into one of those that I've created, which is the contact page view. So as you can see over here, it is set to run only on the contact page, and then I have this small code snippet that I've added that will then send the contact page event. You can add in any name that you would like to add in here, as long as it makes sense and doesn't include very strange characters. So overall, try to stick to plain text when you do this. But you can go ahead and add in anything that makes sense to you, and then I suggest adding it into the body section of the website, not the head, as you don't want it to trigger in front or before the actual code of Fathom triggers. So we add it into the start of the body section. Then once the page loads, it will actually send this event back to Fathom, and we can start seeing that inside of this dashboard. And if we head into the actual dashboard, we can also observe this inside of their report, which is over here under the events section. So I can see that I've had 3 view services and then also 1 contact page view. And I have also added in a few additional code snippets for other types of events, which I'll be touching on in a bit. So let's quickly test one of these. One thing to take note of is I am currently logged in into the back end of my website through WordPress, and therefore if I try to do anything on the website now, it won't be sending any events to the Fathom Analytics tool, seeing as I excluded all traffic from the administrators and all those other roles whilst I was busy with the setup. So to get around this, I just opened up a incognito window, which will then log me out of the website, and I can then browse around and actually test the events that I'm setting up. So as I mentioned, I did create one that that will send the contact page view event once I visit the contact page. So I have triggered it now, and if I head back into Fathom, I can then refresh, and I should see a second conversion. So that is one of the examples of a normal page load event that you can implement on the website. If I head back into here, I do also have a contact form submission, which I can quickly show you by completing our form, and I'll show you in a bit how I've then implemented that. There you go. I'll just add in a few zeros over there. Then I don't remember where I came from or where I found us. And then I can go ahead and complete the form. Once this then triggers, it's going to send that event back to Fathom, as I mentioned. So I can head back in here, refresh, and it should then give me that new one. So let me just wait for it to actually finish loading and register the new event. Give me a few seconds. And there you go. So as you can see over here, I do have my form submit event, which triggered after I then completed the form on my website. And the way that I implemented this is very straightforward, but that is because of the specific tool that I am using. So overall, as I mentioned, they do have the guides on their documentation that you can go ahead and read through, where they can, for instance, show you how to do a form submission when you do not, when you're not able to implement it the way that I'm going to be showing you now. There you will need to add in a custom ID for the form itself. So you'll need to add an ID to the form element, and then from there on it will listen for a submit from that specific element, or the form in this case. And once that then happens, it will send the event. With the way that I did it, it is much more simplified, seeing as I use Gravity Forms. So all I needed to do is actually copy this code snippet over, or this piece of the code over here, which is the actual function that sends the event. Then I head into our website's backend and head into Gravity Forms, click on Forms. I can then select the form that I would like to implement this event for. So let's just wait for it to load. There you go. So I would like to, for instance, add it to the new contact form. I can head into settings and then click on confirmations. Now there are quite a few of the form builders that do have this function, although not a lot of normal users would know about it. So on the default confirmation message that you display once someone submits a form, you can often add code snippets. So they will usually have some types of, or certain types of settings that you just need to enable. So for Gravity Forms, for instance, you have to select text and then make sure that it is in the text format over here on the right hand side, and then also disable auto formatting, seeing as if this is enabled, it will try to format the text, and then it might actually end up just either displaying the text that you're adding in here, the script, or it will remove it and not trigger once you then submit the form. So as you can see over here, I did actually add my script already, but it is as simple as adding in the event over there, or the function, and then adding in script, and then closing that script tag again so that we have a completed script. Once this is then done, it will, or once it then displays the message that is, as you can see over here at the top, displayed after someone submits the form, it will also go ahead and run this code snippet. And that is the way that I can then get my form submissions inside of Fathom, seeing as it just requires that specific function to be triggered with the event name that you would like it to have. There are also a whole bunch of other things that you can do with the Fathom conversion tracking, such as setting up, for instance, e-commerce conversions. And here you can start to get a bit more creative by adding in some variables or parameters, such as values. But overall, I will just be touching on the lead side of the setup, which is the form submissions and page loads. And that actually means that I have concluded the custom events section of this guide. But if you would like to know more about this and how to implement the e-commerce conversions, for instance, then you are more than welcome to leave me a comment in the at the bottom of the video, and then I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Apart from that, I just wanted to touch on one more thing that Fathom does have, which is also a great feature that they have implemented, which is the firewall. So inside of this firewall section, you can actually block certain types of pages, and once again you can click on their information box to get a bit more information about it, or go into the documentation to read more about how to implement this. But let's say, for instance, I would like to block all my blog pages, then I can do this by simply adding in blog and then adding an asterisk after that. Which will then act as a wildcard, which means everything after this blog slash is included. So for instance, if I head into my blog, then I do have the base archive, which is not going to be excluded in this case. But for instance, if I head into any of the posts that I have created, then it does also have that slug after the blog section, and that is what this asterisk accounts for, where anything after that slash, if there's anything after that slash, it also includes it in the exclusion, or the blog page then now. The only other thing that you also have over here is blocked IPs. So if you are using certain types of tools to track the IP addresses of users that come to your website, and you can pick up on spam IPs, then you can also block the IPs so that this data does not get sent to Fathom itself. You also have your allowed domains, which once again you can read about a bit more about this in the documentation, or otherwise by clicking on the icon over here. And then this will just essentially, what this entails is, if I would like to only receive data from my domain, then I'll need to add in my domain over here. And once again, I add in that asterisk so that all my subdomains are also included in this case. So it is best to do this so that other users from other websites don't end up sending data to your Fathom account. And then we can also have the block countries, or we also have the block countries where you can block all traffic from a specific area. And that's basically it. So I hope this guide was helpful, and if you have any other questions, then please leave me a comment in the comment section down below. I will be sharing a bit more about other types of tools similar to this as well on the channel, so please do subscribe and like the video if you did enjoy it. And that's it from my side. Have a fantastic day. Bye.